YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to a new video. If this is your first time here on the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Definitely check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. So today I want to chat about something that's near and dear to my heart when it comes to video games, and that's the Nintendo Switch. Now we're rolling into year 7 with the Nintendo Switch, and as someone that absolutely loves the Switch, I'm here to tell you, it's definitely showing its age. And I don't think that's too crazy to say. I'm sure a lot of you out there are very similar to me. You play your Switch on a daily basis. I personally play in handheld mode majority of the time. But I mean, it's time. It's time for Nintendo to put something new out. But okay, even with all of that being said, today I wanted to share with you my top 5 surprises from the Nintendo Switch in 2023. Let's get into it. Let's start off with number 5 here, and it just might make you just a tad bit hungry. I'm talking about Suika Game, or as some of us call it, the Watermelon Game. I believe it was October 2023 that the Watermelon Game showed up on the eShop, and let's be real here. I think it surprised all of us that played it. The Watermelon Game is basically a puzzler that can be compared to something like Tetris or even Puyo Puyo, right? The cool thing about the Watermelon Game, though, is the fact that all of the items that you use in the game, it's fruit, and then it's physics-based as well. This game blew up in Japan. It's really big in Japan on the eShop. And I even think there's like a web browser version that you can play as well that a lot of people have been loving. But when it hit the Switch, I had no clue what it was. It was super cheap and everyone was talking about it. So I decided to try it out. And like I said, it surprised me. The reason behind that is because it's such a simple concept, right? But it's highly addictive and incredibly charming. It's crazy because this is the epitome of like the one more try, just one more try, and then I'll put it down. One more go, and then that's it. And I don't even know how many times I said that while I played this game. I found myself battling against my own high score. I was trying to get to the top of the leaderboard, which will never happen because people are incredibly good at this game. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, the Watermelon Game is ridiculous. It's such a good time, so much fun. It's super chill. And most importantly, it surprised the hell out of me because it just came out of nowhere. So my number 4 goes to Mario in general. Mario gets the number 4 spot because he had a hell of a year. First of all, we knew back in 2022 that we were getting a Super Mario Brothers movie, right? Cool. I already told myself that I was going to go see it. I went. It came out during my birthday weekend. I went to the theater, saw it, and I was just blown away by it. It was really good. I loved it. Now, is it the best movie ever? No. But as far as like, Nintendo references and all that good stuff, I think it's pretty damn good. The thing that surprised me the most when it comes to Mario was the fact that, okay, as we're getting closer to, well, let's backpedal to 2022. Me, and maybe this is just silly old me, thought that, okay, we're going to get a Mario movie coming up in 2023. That means there's going to be a Mario game, right? So, as the release of the movie gets closer, we hear nothing about a new Mario game. And I was like, man, that stinks. Okay, I guess we're going to have to wait until the next Switch comes out and then they'll throw out, a 3D Mario. No, that didn't happen. It was in the summer of 2023. I think it was June during a Nintendo Direct. They announced Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and it surprised the hell out of me. And what's even more surprising is the fact that this is the first like 2D, like legit 2D Mario game, like brand spanking new Mario game, right? To drop since New Super Mario Brothers U, which came out on the Wii U, I believe. And that was back in 2012. Ridiculous, right? So we waited that long to get a new 2D Mario game. And to me, super surprising, but it was well worth the wait. You guys already know how I feel about the Mario game. And I'll be speaking more about that in next week's video. But Super Mario Brothers Wonder, it's a good time. And it surprised me overall. All right, so when it comes to number 3, things start to get a little spicy, right? It starts to get a little spicy. So one thing that I can say, one thing that I love to do, love to play, since it's been released on the Nintendo Switch, is Tetris 99, right? It's one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games ever. It is my go-to game when it comes to multiplayer. I love the whole concept of Tetris 99. I just love it. I think it's so out of the box, but it still keeps the basic main component and content of Tetris there, right? So everyone's familiar with it, because who doesn't know how to play Tetris? Now, after the release of Pac-Man 99, and I don't want to call these games failures by any means, but Pac-Man 99 didn't do all that well. I didn't like it personally. I didn't like it that much. Super Mario 35, didn't really like that. I thought it was cool, but I didn't really like that game when it came to like putting it into that like Tetris 99 style, right? I didn't really like it all that much. I never would have thought that we would get another 99 game, right? And boom, out of nowhere comes F-Zero 99. Nintendo, they're so weird in certain ways. Like, they don't have a great online infrastructure, but they still manage somehow to make these like Tetris 99, F-Zero 99 games work, and work really well. The game controls really well. It's such a challenge to play. The fact that you're racing against essentially 98 other people to try to get first. I've never gotten first in the game, but I'll be damned if I didn't try my hardest to try. I think the closest I ever got to first was 14th place. And that's not bad, but I mean, it's not number one, right? Reception seemed to be really good at release. A lot of people were playing it. A lot of people were loving it. Not as many people are playing online as there used to be. I'm noticing that getting more bots in my races than I did, at release, but that's okay. But hopefully this means that, since it was so well received, hopefully this means that we'll see a new F-Zero game. I don't know, but one can only hope, right? So my number 2 surprise from the Nintendo Switch in 2023 is definitely remasters, and remasters. Now let's be real here, guys. Nintendo is no stranger to remakes or remasters. Definitely remakes, right? They're definitely not a stranger to that whole entire concept. What I do appreciate about Nintendo is the fact that they remaster or remake games, right? That are way older, and sometimes those games are stuck on older hard pieces of hardware, older consoles, right, that aren't as accessible in 2023 or now 2024. So it was quite surprising to see the amount of remasters that were released in 2023. And what's even more surprising, though, what surprised the hell out of me, is the fact that they ran really well on the Nintendo Switch. Let me just go over some of these remasters that came out on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not going over all of them, right? But let's just touch on some of the remasters that came out for the Switch in 2023. First off, you have, and this is in no particular order, but you do have the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, right? There was also Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. There was also the Etrian Odyssey Origins collection that came out. That's a remastered. Advance Wars 1 and 2, that came out as a remaster as well. And then we're getting into some games that I got a chance to play, that I played through and completely enjoyed. And like I said, ran extremely well on the Nintendo Switch. First up is Super Mario RPG. I think that game looked fantastic. I don't necessarily know if that's a remaster or a remake, but whatever it is that they did to it, my gosh, it's a beautiful looking game. Especially the cutscenes looked really good, surprisingly. Red Dead Redemption came out on the Nintendo Switch. You guys remember that? That was only a couple months ago. But that came out on the Nintendo Switch, and guess what? It runs really well. I do want to mention Metroid Prime Remastered because, damn it, that game looks beautiful on the Nintendo Switch, and that's such a surprise. So to be fair, the fact that Nintendo put out a bunch of remasters and remakes isn't the surprising part. The more surprising part for me is the fact that they run so well on old ass hardware. Let's be real. Again, we're rolling into the 7th year with the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, really wasn't expecting to play Red Dead Redemption on the Switch and for it to perform so well. So my number one surprise for the Nintendo Switch, number one thing that happened that surprised me on the Nintendo Switch in 2023 is definitely the fact that Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games came to the Nintendo Switch Online. Now, in all fairness, this was a rumor. I even made a video about this rumor, which I typically don't do. But wow, I wasn't expecting it to really happen. Those of you that have been here for a while, you know how much my handheld games mean to me. Definitely a staple of my childhood, especially the Game Boy, right? Oh my gosh, like that took my Game Boy everywhere with me. And I'd been wanting this for a while, and I'm so happy that they finally brought Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games to the Nintendo Switch. I think that's great. Through the Nintendo Switch Online, people are able to play some really dope Game Boy games, right? That family of system. They're able to play dope Game Boy games that they might not have played at the time of release. So they're able to play those old school Game Boy Kirby games. They're able to play, I don't know, Metroid 2, Return to Samus. My main issue though, and this is not me wanting to be nitpicky, but we kind of know how Nintendo rolls when it comes to releasing these retro games through Nintendo Switch Online, right? They kind of drag their feet and they don't give us what we want. There are a ton of other Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games that I would love to see on the system, but they're kind of like sprinkling them, you know, out there. And I would prefer if they gave us some hefty ones off the break, right? That would have been great. I believe all of the Super Mario Advance games that came out on the Game Boy Advance are on Nintendo Switch Online, as well as something like Metroid Fusion. The first WarioWare game is on there. I mean, there are some bangers, not gonna lie. When it comes to the Game Boy Advance, I'm not gonna lie, there's some great stuff. Minish Cap. But, you know, even with me complaining, I still think that it's a great surprise. Again, it blew my mind, surprised the hell out of me, the fact that we are able to play Game Boy games on the Nintendo Switch. That's just awesome. So that's it, guys. Those are my top 5 surprises for the Nintendo Switch in 2023. Again, coming from someone that loves the Nintendo Switch, play it on a daily basis, really wasn't expecting much last year, just because, you know, we know that we're in this transitional period, right? Again, 7 years strong. Okay, 7 years. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a new Switch this year. And there's some talks about it, but I hope we get a new Switch this year. But again, since we're at the end of this cycle, this console cycle, you know, I really wasn't expecting to have such a great time on the Switch. So at the end of its life cycle, that's crazy to me. But yeah, guys, let me know what your top 5 surprises were on the Nintendo Switch in 2023. I'd love to hear it. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time. Peace.